The e-cigarette thing has just blown up everywhere.
I love the signs now at bars that says no smoking or vaping. You can't come in
What
here
difference
and
would it make?
Well, you can't just wander in and, that used to be the cool thing. I'm not smoking, I'm vaping. It's a whole different thing. No, it's still irritating to other people, so quit it and get out.
Yeah, but I'm tired of worrying about irritating other people all the time, too. This is why I don't ever leave my backyard. Because you're going to irritate somebody, or they're going to irritate you, and then there's drama.
Especially if you've had a bunch of Red Bulls.
Red Bills and vodka, too.
And vodka.
That's a good idea. Go up and come down. Up, down, until you just go insane.
Right.
The e-spliff is among us. A Dutch company has the world's first electronic joint.
Now,
It's being touted by its makers as being, quote, quite harmless.
Yeah.
Dutch manufacturers Joint BV, whatever it is, claim the e-spliff is harmless and contains no tobacco, nicotine, or THC. Then what's the point?
What is the point?
The little cig has a chrome-plated tip where a cannabis leaf lights up with every puff. So you're only endorsing that you're a bigger jack-off than you are with a vaping cigarette?
Go roll a joint and shut up, would you? My God.
Smoke some weed or be quiet. Stop buying synthetic dope and little light-ups. Losers. The cigarette is 100% legal in Holland. Well, then stay in Holland and smoke it. But the legality, their legality varies across the continent based upon different laws. Holland is well known for their tolerant and liberal attitude towards soft drugs. But if there's no pot in it, then it isn't a drug.
Yeah.
You're just showing off with your marijuana leaf that glows in the dark. Eat a big one. Just stop it.
We got an email from Julie saying, when you were talking a minute about if you love somebody, that should be enough. This story out of Western Michigan, a fellow named Dan Maurer, Julie says, how tough would this relationship be? Dan has been frustrated for the last few years because he has got a problem. His problem is that he has a scrotum that weighs more than 100 pounds.
Nice.
He says when I go out, people do look. They try to be polite, but you can tell that there's not something right with me.
Is he pushing a wheelbarrow to carry his nuts in, or?
His wife, who he hasn't been able to be in a relationship with in that way for 7 years, is still by his side and says that they are going on the internet to try to raise money to get Dan the surgery that he needs. His wife Mindy says, when you say those vows, you mean them or you don't, and I meant them.
Yeah, well, that's
and so
very
she's
kind.
Been hanging out with Dan. He's noticed one of his that his bag was getting a little bigger, but he was getting a little fatter, and he thought that might have something to do with it. So doctors put him on a diet. He lost 50 pounds, but that didn't do anything for the size of his scrotal area.
I suppose this is easy to laugh at until it's you.
He says, it wasn't until I saw that show on TLC called The Man with 132-pound scrotum that I knew that there was hope for me.
Mercy sakes.
It's a rare condition, thank God, but there is a doctor in California that can perform the surgery if they can get the money. So if you go to the website GoFundMe.com and search out Dan Maurer in the 100-pound scrotum, you could make a donation in his name and hopefully help him get the 20 grand he needs for surgery so he can get back to a normal life.
I can't imagine. It's not really funny, but how do you contract that ailment?
I don't know, but I don't want to find out.
No.
And the next email that was sent from a listener, and I'll do this for you real quick because it's funny. The 10 Commandments of the grocery store. They heard me talking about the woman yesterday that wouldn't return her shopping cart and how it irritated me.
It's a simple act of doing the right thing. It isn't that hard.
The 10 Commandments of the grocery store. Number 10, thou shalt not stalk for a parking spot. don't slowly drive behind me at 5 miles an hour waiting for me to get to my car to unload my groceries when there's another spot that's two spots down that's open. Number 9, thou shalt reconsider the self-checkout. If you can't find the barcode on a product or flatten out money to fit into a machine, just say no and get some help. Number 8, thou shalt not stop at the exit to go over your receipt. Yeah, that's irritating. Treat the cashier with respect is number 7.
Yeah.
Number 6, thou shalt respect the invisible checkout line bubble of personal space. When I'm putting my things on the conveyor belt, don't get right up on me and start cramming your stuff right behind me. There's a little space that needs to be done and maybe a time to chit-chat with the cashier. Unless you want to pay for my purchases, back off. Number 5, thou shalt not decide against the frozen pizza you picked up in the frozen food section and then place it on the shelf next to the shampoo. Really? Come on, people. Number 4, thou shalt obey the express line rules. If it says 15 items or less, that doesn't mean an entire cart full of stuff.
Although, at the new Kroger's, it says about 15 items or something like that.
Or, yeah.
It gives you the room to
wiggle a little bit.
Yeah. So I've only got 60, so I'm good.
But those 75 cans of soup that took you 15 minutes to pick out don't count as a single item.
No.
Number 3, thou shalt travel up and down the aisle like a civilized person. One side or the other, not right down the middle.
Yeah, nothing is worse than two women stop to chat about their stuff, blocking the entire aisle. Move.
Number 2, thou shalt walk down the central aisle, shall not walk down the center aisle of the parking lot. Pick one side or the other because you're holding up traffic. You do not have superhuman pedestrian powers that can override people in cars. And number 1, thou shalt not leave your cart in an empty parking spot.
That is the worst.
There are 2 kinds of people in this world: those who return carts to the cart corral and assholes. Leaving the cart to find its own way home often results in the cart camping out in a parking spot, and somebody will inevitably pull halfway in before realizing the cart's there, and then angrily back out, pissing off all the people behind them. The carts have a home. Please help them find it. The end.